From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on your MTN statewide news on this Monday. I'm Andrea Lutz. We start this afternoon in Billings, where a crash has closed a busy road. This after police say the driver of a pickup truck crashed over the rim rocks, hundreds of feet to the ground below. The Billings Police Department is investigating, saying the truck went over the edge of Zimmerman Trail. Only the passenger was transported to a Billings hospital. Zimmerman Trail was closed at the top and at the bottom. Police haven't yet said what caused that crash. Millions of Americans are struggling with disrupted sleep during the pandemic. But if you're counting an ever-increasing number of sheep at night, you may want to look at your diet. CBS's Laura Podesta checks the grocery list for a food that may help you get more Z's.
Rise. Fold.
Yoga instructor Bethany Lyons has a lot on her plate. She launched her own company during the pandemic, teaching online classes daily. She says healthy snacking is a must.
I eat raw almonds, I eat roasted almonds, I eat salted, unsalted, any kind of almond that there is.
Those nuts may also be helping her sleep at night.
So you're a deep sleeper. Do you think your diet contributes to that?
100%. I think sleep and our energy and all of it is very holistic, right? So it's like the way we live our entire lives.
Nutrition expert Dr. Nicola Vina says there's a reason people who snack on almonds, walnuts, and pistachios might toss and turn a little less at night.
They have high amounts of magnesium, which has been thought to help improve sleep.
Another surprising sleep aid, tart cherry juice.
It contains a small amount of melatonin, and melatonin is a hormone that we have naturally in our bodies that rises right before we fall asleep.
Michael Tanney says he drinks cherry juice a few times a week after dinner.
If I have it at night, I have no issues falling asleep, which is not always the case with other fruits or juices because of the sugar.
Turmeric, the key ingredient in golden milk, is known for its anti-inflammatory properties, which are associated with good sleep. Alcoholic drinks, which might make you feel sleepy at first, can disrupt your REM cycles. Besides ditching alcohol, experts recommend cutting off caffeine after 4 p.m. and avoiding high-fat or heavy meals before bed. Lyons also prioritizes exercise. She says those good habits help her rest a little easier. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Other lesser-known foods that may hurt your sleep are tomatoes due to their high acidity. Meat and cheese pizza are also bad because they contain higher levels of amino acid, which makes you feel alert. All right, Montana U.S. Senator Jon Tester says he now has a better understanding of what's going on at Malmstrom Air Force Base. Senator toured the base this weekend with the Air Force Chief of Staff and head of Global Strike Command. He learned about threats around the world, visited a missile launch facility, the weapons storage facility, and the facility that'll house the new helicopters at the base, which is expected to get pretty soon. He also met with some of the missileers.
As has been pointed out many times, this was Kennedy's ace in the hole during the Cuban Missile Crisis. We need to make sure that we are up to par with and actually better than what is happening in China and Russia in particular.
Tester is the chairman of the Senate Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, which provides $700 billion a year for the Department of Defense and other agencies. Some of Montana's top medical emergency personnel from different cities are being honored by the Montana Department of Labor and Industry. The state health department also says that Montana received over 130,000 calls over the past year requesting emergency medical services. More than 7,000 of those calls involved children experiencing injury or illness. This event was part of the National Emergency Medical Services Week and EMS for Children Day. Individuals from over 5 Montana cities were honored by the State Department and Governor Greg Gianforte.
Every hour of every day and every day of every year, your dedicated and hard work are so important because you're there to answer the call 24/7. All 130,000 of these calls that you received last year. We appreciate your hard work in working together to save lives.
The governor says we can all take steps in helping EMS by learning CPR and starting assistance to patients before EMS arrives on scene. Lawmakers made some progress trying to come up with a proposal to help fix the nation's infrastructure. Republican and Democratic senators on the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee reached an agreement over the weekend. The proposal would increase funding for highways, roads, and bridges by 34% over 5 years. The proposal set the baseline funding at $300 billion. The agreement follows President Biden's offer to trim his infrastructure proposal to $1.7 trillion. House Republicans introduced their own version with a price tag of $400 billion. Today, the National Guard will begin leaving the U.S. Capitol. The Guard's mission to protect the Capitol following the January 6 riots officially ended on Sunday. The Pentagon says any extension to keep troops on the ground in D.C. was never requested. The Lieutenant General who manages the security review following those riots says now security of the Capitol will be turned over to Capitol Police. Today, the death toll from the coronavirus reached a grim milestone in India. The death toll passed 300,000 after India's health ministry reported more than 4,400 new deaths in the last 24 hours. India's death toll now stands at just over 303,000. It took less than a month for India to record its last 100,000 deaths. India is the third most deaths from coronavirus behind the United States and Brazil. The country ranks second in total cases behind the United States. Today, the Japanese government mobilized the military to help speed up coronavirus vaccination efforts. Mass vaccination centers opened in Tokyo and Osaka. Japan's prime minister set a goal for military doctors and nurses to administer a combined 15,000 shots per day for the next 3 months. The mass vaccination sites also started using the Moderna vaccine. Previously, the country only used the vaccine produced by Pfizer. The effort comes as concerns grow over holding the already postponed Olympic Games that are set to begin July 23rd. Only 2% of Japan's population is fully vaccinated for coronavirus. Dogs could soon help detect coronavirus cases in people who might not be even showing symptoms. A study that's being taken place in London shows dogs were 90% effective in finding the virus. Researchers gathered 200 samples of clothing and face masks from people who tested positive. Those samples were arranged in a lab for 6 dogs trained to indicate the presence of the chemical compound of COVID-19. Researchers say the dogs identified as high as 94% of the samples. However, the results of the study now need to be peer reviewed. All right, we have more to come on the new news on this Monday, including how a major project in Butte and around that area is in talks to get a massive solar field underway. We'll take you there. But first, our Ed McIntosh is in with a look at the statewide weather forecast.